rain or maybe chance of rain in the next couple days, and it's going to be a lot cooler. I like that. I like that.
I like it.
Okay.
Are we live?
Yeah, I mean, we should be live to the after party and stuff.
Cool. Woo. Welcome to the after party.
The after party.
We're going to be going over donation comments as well as some Johnsons.
The after party.
Are you going to game at all?
We'll see if we get that far.
See if we get that far.
I mean, I can always fire up WoW.
Yeah, and we're going to do probably a Twitch raid by the end of it if we have a referral, which it looks like we do not. So maybe there's still time if Stell wants to throw something in there. Okay, I guess we'll just go down the line here, starting with Doncel. $4.99. What?
Mail time first.
Oh, you want to do mail time first?
Well, I've only got 2 things.
All right.
So I thought I would...
Oh, it's like Christmas wrap.
Would open them, and this one's like wrapped up like a present, so that's fun. If you guys want to send mail to me or Kyle, my P.O. box is listed in the video's description of all my videos, so go ahead and do that. This is from Yaya Abbas from Missouri.
Yaya. Like Y-A-Y-A?
Yeah.
Yaya.
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 I like that. That's a good name. Oh, it's folded up. Actually, before even that.
What?
Well, there was. Remember I was talking about last week.
Oh, so those aren't included in these.
No, I don't think so.
I see.
Somebody commented though and said, "Hey, you guys," and it was somebody who is a regular, who's donated regularly before. Oh, the UFD Tech thing. Did we talk about that? Oh, we were supposed to talk about that. Damn it.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I didn't know we were supposed to talk about
UFD
that.
Tech. I didn't even...
Was that an announcement that you wanted to do?
No, he's... Like, you haven't seen any of that on Twitter or anything in the past few days?
I have.
You have?
Yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to bring it up and spread awareness for people who weren't and just totally didn't.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to have to either do that next week or figure out some other option for it because...
We could still announce it now.
Okay. UFD Tech, if you guys are familiar, they have a YouTube is a YouTube channel. He and his, I believe, wife have a son. The son has a medical condition. I don't know. This is why I didn't want to talk about it. The details, which I've vaguely read about, but I don't know about
It's a rare
specific.
genetic mutation.
Yeah.
That causes him to have hundreds of seizures a day.
Little seizures.
Like like hundreds of mini seizures a day, and it's really debilitating. And it started to develop recently into drop seizures, which actually causes this really small child to like drop and like face plant anytime he gets these seizures, which is incredibly heartbreaking. And apparently they live in South Africa.
Yes.
And they are now moving their entire lives back to the U.S. in order to get him better treatment because the options are very limited where they're at currently. So it obviously takes a lot of time, energy, and money to move your entire life with, I think, the 2 or 3 kids that they have within like a month for like potentially a life or death scenario for their son, which is incredibly heartbreaking. When I saw the video, it was very hard to watch, and my heart goes out to them and stuff. So
on the plus side, I mean, if there's a silver lining to this,
I was getting to that. Yeah, go ahead.
Did you see their GoFundMe?
Yeah, I donated as well.
Okay, their GoFundMe support for Emmett039S, and they've already raised over $100,000. Their goal was $10,000, so people have already been extremely generous.
Yeah.
Which
makes me feel so much
better. Sending donations. Yeah,
makes me feel so much. I'm like,
I think because I spotted this earlier today, and as part of it, I was like, oh my gosh, well that should hopefully cover them for their move and everything like that. So they're gonna move back to the U.S. For medical coverage for medicals to get medical help for their son.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know what else I can add to that.
And I think these contributions
they don't have insurance in the U.S., so they get
these contributions
pay out of pocket then.
Are going to be not just for the move, but for the son's medical bills as well.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, shit, I don't even know if that'll be enough. $100K for how expensive
if they
medical
don't have
treatment
insurance
is
in the U.S., then
for something like that. I
have
can't
to
even
figure that out.
imagine. But it's a good head start, I think. And if you guys have anything to contribute, if you want to, feel free to visit their GoFundMe page.
And thank you to Ludicrous Ginger for linking that in Twitch chat, by the way. It
Yeah.
helped me pull that up a lot quicker. All
Thanks,
right.
guys.
So yeah, we've totally blinked. I feel really bad. I meant to add that this morning when I was first putting the show doc together so that we could each mention it at the beginning.
I completely blanked too.
All right. Well, we'll bring it back
We can always
tomorrow.
do it next week, too, or-
But it's really like the community that's already reached out and done all those donations is really awesome.
Yeah.
So cool. All right.
Onward.
Back to mail time. Yeah. Has a question about his system. He has a Xeon X3470 and a GT710, 2 gigs of GDDR3. I want to upgrade my graphics card. Couldn't because the board I have does not support PCIe by 16 slot. Should I buy a GT730 or should I rebuild my PC? Also, if you think I should rebuild, what is a good PC for around $450? You can respond back, and he gives his email address. He gives his spec. He has specs. He has a Xeon X3470, GT710, 2 gig DDR3, 8 gigs of ECC DDR3 memory. So this looks like it was maybe a repurposed server build or something like that. 700 gig hard drive. All right. Good questions here. The system that you're currently running on uses DDR3, and that's kind of become one of my cutoff points for whether I recommend an upgrade or not. If you're on a system that's using DDR3, that system is old enough that you will get significant performance improvements by going with an upgrade. So I would recommend upgrading your core system, and I would recommend right now you consider a B450 chipset motherboard from AMD and one of their APUs that's currently available, either the 3200G or 3400G. That can get you up and running. You'll need to buy some DDR4 memory as well, but you should be able to put together those base components. You could even carry over your existing graphics card and keep using that to save you on some of your upfront costs. Although with an APU, you don't really need a graphics card. And I'd be kind of curious whether the APU would be faster than that 710 or not. Good question. But anyway,
I think the 710 would be a little faster.
you can put together that APU base system for $400 to $500 with reasonable choices of components. If you check out my channel, on my monthly builds videos, I have several builds like that kind of somewhat recently, and that's what I point out to. And for all of you in chat who are now sad because I just said if you're using DDR3, it's old, I'm sorry. I'm not saying
living in the past.
But are you,
Paul
who are
says you
using
suck.
DDR3 right now, asking me what you should upgrade to with $450? You didn't, or at least you have it in chat. If you're, anyway, all right. So, I insulted people. I insulted my
You're so mean, Paul.
DDR3 viewers. I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
So mean.
All right. Hopefully that's a decent answer. Jason Triplet from Maryland, sent this package, which is it's all wrapped up.
Nicely wrapped.
I feel like it's Christmas. Christmas has come early.
It sounds like you're fragile.
It says fragile.
No, it sounds like it's
It
fragile.
says retail ground.
I heard something rattling around in there a little bit. What if it's a hand?
Oh god, I don't want to break anything.
Send all your CPUs to this address.
Careful, certain parts of this knife are still really sharp.
Jason. See? Sounds like computer hardware.
This is a Zalman.
What? It is computer hardware?
Maybe.
Why?
Man, this is taped up really well.
Why are people sending you computer hardware?
I don't know.
You kind of have that covered
I
already.
have a little bit of hardware laying around here and there.
Maybe there'll be something different inside than what's on the box.
Oh, is this a fanless cooler?
A passive heatsink?
Maybe he sent this to me because of my passively cooled Ryzen video. This is a
FX100.
Zalman FX100, which is a hexahedron
I've seen
fanless
that thing
cooler.
before.
Is that what's actually in the box? Is this a letter or something? Or is
Black
this...
pearl nickel plated. Mirroring base. High compatibility.
Wait, did he write something? Is this just a... Hi, Paul. I hope this looks better on your HTPC than that ridiculous birdcage heatsink.
Birdcage heatsink.
It's not a bird cage. That's the.
What's the model name?
This is Jason. What?
Of the one that you have?
The No Fan CR95C.
CR95.
Yeah.
Oh, it is a bird cage.
It's not a bird cage.
Well,
It's a nice looking.
it looks like a donut. Or
All right,
like
so
a
Jason
skateboard
Jason
wheel.
T, thank you for sending over this Zalman cooler.
You should test it against the one that you have,
I should.
just to see if it was worth him sending it.
I should. That's what I have lots of time for right now. Is testing.
It's a free video.
Free. Only requires all the hours.
Only
spent.
requires 20 hours
testing.
approximately to do all the before and after.
All my videos are free.
Free video idea, I should say.
Okay. I have seen this one. It is a nice little cooler.
It's very
What are the
popular.
specs though? What's the TDP rating for it?
TX100? Oh, FX.
130 watt CPUs. All right. Well,
You're within
fine
that.
then. Jeez, this is chaos. Oh, the mounting hardware there. This top piece. Here it is.
It got pretty good marks. 4 out of 5 on 4 out of 5 eggs on Newegg.
Okay.
4 stars
Wow.
on Guru 3D.
Interesting. The heat pipe design on this. It's got like this inner set of fins, and then it's got this outer set.
The first review's from 2013. Been around
Yeah,
for a
it's
while.
been around for a little while. Is it AM4 compatible?
Uh,
It's kind of bent.
is it?
You see the bend right here?
Oh yeah, squished in.
I think that happened in shipping probably. It might be able to get bent back a little bit. That's a nice little cooler though. Zalman Cube.
I don't know if I'd call it little, but
It's a nice, reasonably sized cooler.
definitely beefy.
Got a little cap that goes on the top too.
I'm sure it's very quiet.
Oh yeah, there's no fan. Fell over.
No moving parts.
Okay.
Name even
All right.
hand.
Thank you. Wait, who sent that? Jason. Thank you, Jason.
Just saw.
Thank you for sending that over. Okay, what else we got?
We do have some
we got some
donations.
donation comments.
Yes, we could start with Don Sell for $4.99, who said, I would like support shots. Maybe he meant I would like to support shots.
No, he wants like booster shots, like immunity.
Oh, like
That's
vaccinations?
probably vaccinations. is
Oh,
what
yeah,
I thought.
sure. I'm glad he's not a vaccination paranoid person. Well, that's
Make
good.
sure to get your Tdap. You should update that
Yes,
every 10 years.
definitely. Get your kids
Yep.
vaccinated as well. Cole L999 USB-C laptop and wireless earbuds questions. Could the charger/charging cases be hubs for USB-C charger and wireless headphones cases to support headphone jack?
Could the charging case be a hub for a charger and wireless headphone cases to support headphone jack? I think I understand what you're asking here, Cole, and it would depend on how the USB-C dongle worked and the the earbuds themselves.
I don't understand it. What's he asking?
Well, no, he's talking about wireless. Could the charging cases be a hub for a USB-C charger and wireless headphone? All right.
Could
If
you
he's talking
plug-
about wireless headphones, but he's talking about support for a headphone jack, right? Okay, so for phones without a headphone jack, if they've got a USB-C port in the bottom, and they've got an adapter, like a dongle adapter, that goes to an analog 1/8" headphone jack, at some point in there, there's a there's a DAC. There's a digital to analog converter. That DAC might be in the phone, or that DAC might be in the dongle itself. And different solutions work different ways. That's why not all USB-C to headphone adapter dongles work universally, because some of them have the DAC in them, and sometimes the DAC's in the phone itself. that's as far as I can go in answering your question. If you're talking about a charging case external that you plug into the phone and connect up and then plug your headphones into that, is that what you're talking about?
I don't get plugging the charger into the phone. Like plugging your AirPods case into your phone? Because I don't know anything about AirPods. I don't know how they work. I don't know how the case works. Do you charge the case? Does the case charge the AirPods? Does it have a battery built into it, like a residual charge?
From what I've seen,
no
I've
idea.
never used them, but there's a little case, and I think that case plugs in, and then you just put the AirPods in the case, and that's how they charge.
Okay.
But if you're talking about something like AirPods use Bluetooth to connect to your phone, and that's how it transfers the audio from the phone to the AirPods. He's talking about using the case as a hub for a USB charger and then also supporting a headphone jack, and I just don't completely understand what he had in mind. So Cole, I think we're going to have to leave it at that and move on because we don't fully understand your question. I apologize,
Yeah.
but
Sorry,
I hope
man.
some things that we've said have helped you in some way.
All right.
That or we'll put your money to good use.
Cody Gunst.
Cody.
$5. Would you bother to upgrade from a Vega 64 to a 5700 XT or 2070 Super? Plays Quad HD at 144 hertz, principally Overwatch. Vega 64 is still great, man. That's still a good GPU. You're even for Quad HD, Overwatch isn't a super demanding game by any stretch. Even at that resolution, I wouldn't do it unless you're noticing some negative gameplay experience. If you feel like it's a bit too sluggish, I mean everyone's got a preference. If you are the type of person whose eyes can distinguish between 80 FPS and 120 FPS, and it bothers you, then maybe it's worth upgrading. But I think the vast majority of people should be fine with a Vega 64 at that resolution. And I would wait out. I would honestly hold out for like the next generation of GPUs, personally. But it's up to you. But thank you very much, Cody. MJA, $10. What do you think of ASRock Taichi 5700 XT OC Plus? Do you really like what ASRock is going with about philosophy and their new themes?
I haven't worked... well, I don't know much about that specific graphics card.
Neither do I.
Excuse me. But I will say that I do like what ASRock has done with the design of some of their motherboards, because coming up with a unique design aesthetic in the PC gaming space can be difficult. I think a while back, Asus, they had the Asus ROG, and they made everything red and black. And that was their high-end stuff for a while. And then all the other motherboard manufacturers started making red and black stuff, because that was gamer. ASRock, I think, with their Taichi series and stuff, has gone for kind of a steampunk aesthetic, with gears and stuff like that. And it's just an aesthetic. It's just for looks and everything. But I think it's distinct. It's different. It looks distinct from a lot of the other boards out there. So I applaud them for coming up with a design scheme for their products that looks good. And maybe that's subjective, but I think it looks pretty good, and doesn't look like all of the other gamer whatever stuff that the other brands are coming out with.
Yeah, the Taichi boards are some of the most beautiful boards I've seen in recent years.
They're very nice.
They're very well crafted, and they put a lot of thought into them. And the GPU, I mean, it's aesthetic, so it's always subjective. But like Paul said, I can respect a brand who isn't afraid to branch out and do something completely different, and differentiate themselves, because it's scary to do that for a brand or a company to take a gamble on that. But I think it's paid off. They have. I mean, when you see sometimes till this day, when I see a GPU or a motherboard, sometimes I have to look at it twice before I know if it's MSI or Asus or even Gigabyte.
Mm-hmm.
But anytime I see an ASRock board, instantly I know it's ASRock. I don't have to think twice. And I think there's something cool about that.
It's good for branding.
Yeah. It definitely sets you apart. Obviously, the word unique can go either way, right? There have been certain things that are really unique, way off base, that just don't work well, and they stand out because they're not good looking or whatever. But I think ASRock's going in the right direction. So, Greg W, $10. I built a B350 system with a 2400G. Assuming I get a discrete GPU, is it worth going to a 2600X or a 2700X? Depends on the GPU.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, a discrete GPU, any discrete GPU that's going to cost you $150 or more is going to be an upgrade over the internal graphics from a 2400G. So I would say yes. As far as your CPU choice that you upgrade to, that's going to be... I can't give you a good answer for that. Yes, you want to upgrade because the 2400G I think is quad core. It's either 4 cores, 4 threads, or 4 cores, 8 threads. So you're going to want to upgrade the CPU. What you're going to have a difficult time choosing between right now, I think, is heavily discounted 2000 series GPUs or bit faster but more expensive 3000 series GPUs. I would say dropping a 3600 or 3600X into that system would be a great choice, but you might be able to get a 2600X or even a 2700X, which would give you more cores and threads for even less money, because those have been on fire sale here and there pretty significantly. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see some like insane Black Friday deals coming up.
Yeah.
On like
Clearing out
the last 2000 series CPUs. So that those are going to be difficult choices to make. Like, do I want the 7 nanometer and the newest, better IPC and everything?
Or do you want the great deal?
Or do I want, on the 6 core, or do I want an 8 core 2000 series for like 50 or $100 less than that? Like, that's a hard choice to make.
Depends on how many threads you need, really.
Yeah.
That too. Like, are you just doing gaming, or where you're fine with a few threads, or are you going to be doing more content creation, where you're interested in streaming and broadcasting your gameplay, maybe doing some editing, cutting together highlight reels, or whatever it is, multimedia shit for school or for work? Then the extra cores and threads are going to benefit you more. But I think if you're just gaming and you want to save some coin, a 3000 series Ryzen 5 chip is going to be the way to go. It also depends on brand deals or on holiday deals, like Paul said, and what resolution you're gaming at too, I think. Because if you're going to be gaming at 1440p, for example, you're probably going to be putting in a more hefty GPU, and you're going to want a CPU that has higher IPC, better clocks in order to keep up with that GPU to really make the most of its potential. So you might want to veer more towards a Ryzen 7 chip in that sense. But if you're going for 1080p, just something more mainstream, then a Ryzen 5 should do the trick just fine as well. So, there's a lot of possibilities depending on your needs and budget and all that stuff.
It's a tough call. If anything, look at it like you have lots of options to choose from, and they're all good in their own special way. Yeah. So, like Kyle said,
right,
figure out how much CPU performance you need, and get a 3000 series.
Reviews. Look up lots of reviews.
All right. Before we do that, that's my half comments. So, do you remember last week?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember going over these comments from last week?
Maybe.
From Michael Seacrest?
I remember that name.
I was playing World of Warcraft, so I wasn't paying attention.
I do remember that name. I don't know. I can't remember if I read that comment.
Okay. So
I think I do. Yeah. I think I do. I think I remember that comment.
All right. Last week, there's a chance that we missed some donation comments, and I always feel bad about that, especially if people drop money on us, because we want to answer them. But it got a little chaotic, so I'm going to real quickly try to go over these. Not going to spend too much on each one, because there's a chance we already went over it last week. But there's a donation from Michael Seacrest last week. We were talking about the audio at Kyle's place.
Use the restroom, I'll be right back.
He said, "I don't hear the hiss, but 20 years of helicopters, artillery, and small arms fire might have something to do with that. Thanks, guys. Love drinking beer and watching you guys." Michael, thank you for your donation, and cheers. Next, also from Michael, MB67 this time, regular viewer and donator. 1337, once again, Paul, thanks for sharing your video regarding Yosemite. Makes me miss going on mountain hikes. Cheers. Cheers to you as well, Mike. I hope you liked my video on Yosemite. I really liked going there. I missed going there. It had actually been a really long time since I went into the valley and everything. Next year we want to go and camp there. Haven't done that in a while. Pup Shepherd, $5 donation. Why do you think we don't have 16x PCIe lanes for each slot on the motherboard? I wonder why high PCIe counts are reserved for server CPUs. Money? Yes, Pup. Absolutely, it's money. Segmentation. Also, you can make a pretty good argument that you don't need lots and lots of PCIe lanes on a mainstream platform. And typically, the PCI Express controller is now part of the CPU. So mainstream CPUs, they just decided that you probably don't need more than 16, 20, 24 lanes. I wouldn't mind having more, but then again, that is kind of what the high-end desktop platform is for, is if you need that extra I.O., then you invest in that higher-end platform, and then you get that. But yeah, hope that answers your question. Blackbird with the $10 donation. Is it worth jumping into liquid cooling on my 8700K now for fun, or wait for a whole new system when it's time to update in maybe a year or two? That's a good question. An 8700K right now on the Intel side is pretty close to the top end, pretty close to the best that you can get. I often recommend 8700Ks over a 9900K because you get 6 cores and 12 threads versus 8 and 16, and you still get basically the same single core performance and everything at the same frequency. So if you've got the cash to spend, if you're looking at maybe a future water-cooled build, but you want to get something basic set up for right now, I would say now would be a reasonable time to do that, because it's probably not going to be until next year sometime that you want to upgrade that core platform at minimum. So yeah, go for it. And with an 8700K, it's unlocked and everything, so you can overclock it and stuff. VC Jester with the $5 donation. He's the one who pointed out and reminded us earlier that UFD Tech just announced they have to move back to the U.S. to find treatment for their son. That was a week ago. We already brought up their GoFundMe and everything like that, so thanks to everyone who has donated there. And then I think we already covered the donations on Kyle's side, but I'll really quickly go over them. Yara Zabihi with a $5 donation said bottoms up. Dion Starfire with the $5 donation said buy wifey sauce some chips and salsa and guacamole. She's getting cranky without food. Our friend Mike MB67 did two $13.37 donations. Kyle, nice video in New York. Sorry to hear about wifey sauce's phone. And cheers. And then he wonders what the highest cost motherboards are. Wondering if the higher cost motherboards are a result of U.S. tariffs. Mike, from my understanding, that has been most significantly and noticeably impacting power supplies, which are primarily manufactured in China. I think there's lots of companies that have holdings or otherwise in Taiwan, and I do not believe Taiwan is affected by the tariffs. So I think a lot of companies have been able to, I don't know how they do it. I don't know if they just just from China, just send it to Taiwan real quick and then import it and then it's okay. I don't know if they can do that or whatever. But I haven't noticed too many price hikes on other components.
Apart from power supplies.
Power supplies are the main ones where I look at it, I'm like, man, you used to be able to get a really solid $40, $50 power supply, and now I feel like you got to pay 60 or 70. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much where it's at with that, so that kind of sucks. Tariffs, though, is super effective. They're taxes. They're taxes on us is what they are, which is... last one was from Mex PC Gamer. He said, hey guys, see you at CES 2020. Please shout out to the Mexican PC Gamers. Shout out.
Shout out.
The Mexican PC Gamers from a gringo up north.
Mexico. Man, CES
Viva
is
Mexico.
upon us. It's crazy.
All right. Those were the donation comments from last week.
Okay.
That we might have missed, so or we might have doubled up on. Either way, it's fine. This week, Luke 911able. It's interesting. $5 donation. What Ryzen 3000 CPU should I upgrade to from my 1600? I have a 5700 XT. I'm leaning towards the 3700X, but is that worth it compared to the 3600X?
Depends.
Completely depends on how much heavy lifting you're doing with your CPU.
Yeah.
By heavy lifting for a typical home gamer, that's probably going to mean either gaming and streaming at the same time, in which case, yeah, you might get a bit more out of 8 cores versus 6. Or 2, and maybe slightly more practical, would be video encoding, transcoding, re-encoding. That's very, very heavy hit on the CPU, and it'll be done faster with an 8-core, 16-thread CPU than a 12-core, than a 6-core, 12-thread CPU. So that's what it boils down to. Are you going to be doing enough of that CPU heavy lifting stuff that the amount of time saved in the future for you will be worth the price difference of a 3600X to a 3700X right now. That's like the most basic boiled down economic decision about that you can make. Because really that's what it comes down to is time. When it comes to gaming performance, 3700X, 3600X, very minimal difference.
Yeah.
When it comes to just about anything else you're doing, web browsing, watching videos, playing back media, anything like that, very minimal difference.
Yeah.
The only thing that you're paying more for with that 3700X is when you're actually hitting the CPU hard, it's going to finish what it's doing about 25% faster. That's very general, but roughly than a 3600X because it has 25% more cores.
Yeah.
So
Streaming or editing?
yeah. There's other
For
stuff
most
you can
people.
you can do as well, but
For
for
most
most
people.
people that's what it boils down to. I hope that helps. Rob Andrews, the $5 donation, first time live. Your vids start at 1:30 a.m. in the UK. Really?
Holy crap.
Sorry, but thank you.
Why aren't you asleep?
Just wanted to say thanks for doing what you do. Tried to show pics of the PC I built with your help. How? Rob, the best way is to tweet them at us.
Yeah.
If you want to get in on Pimp My PC, which Kyle does on his half usually, usually every week or every other week or give or take.
Yeah, I'll announce it on Twitter.
Best way is to follow Kyle on Twitter. Wait for Tuesday to happen. Wait for Tuesday either in the morning here in the U.S. or in the afternoon, and Kyle will tweet out and be like, "Hey, I'm looking for pictures," and that's when you want to send him your picture.
Yeah, you usually have like half an
Gotta
hour
get on
to an hour window. It's really short, but
You might think like, "Oh, I'll send it to him a day early, and that way he'll have it early." No, he's only looking at the pictures that were just sent right after he tweeted.
I don't think
So
that
that's-
far ahead.
Yeah.
I'm incapable.
And that's just us being honest with how things work here and,
Yep.
and your best bets for getting it on there. WrestleMania with a $50 freaking donation. Thanks, man.
Nice.
Made my first trip to California last week. Went to Lake Forest. Things went well. Promotion. Met a girl. That's awesome, Russell. It was cool to think I was kind of in your neighborhood while on my adventure. Wanted to let you know that I am in love with your state and felt so at home. That's
Nice.
great to hear, Russell.
It's a beautiful state.
We live here in California.
That's why we're still here.
And it's an interesting thing about living in California that every once in a while you can be like, I live in California, and there'll just be some people who are like, fuck you.
Oh yeah,
And I like,
all the time.
I know there's political disagreements and everything between people other U.S. citizens and everything. And I'm willing to admit there are flaws in California.
Flaws with any state.
Not everything's perfect here, but I think there's a lot to really like about California too. So I appreciate getting your positive feedback, and I'm glad you enjoyed your experience here.
We don't have the guns, man. We need to get on them guns.
We have guns. There are plenty of guns in
We
California.
need more guns. Just role playing as someone who hates California. Generally, when I talk to someone who hates California, that's the first thing they bring up,
Usually
or
they
the only thing they bring up.
Usually it's sort of this weird cross between like, oh, California, you have to be super rich to live there, and oh, California, a bunch of socialists, communists there. And I'm like, how are you super rich people and also
And also
communists? You
communists.
understand that those are different things. Anyway. All right,
Just
sorry.
contradictory that way.
There's enough political disagreement
another
going on right
time.
now for us to go any further than that. But all right, moving on. Thank you very much, Russell, for your comment and your donation. Mr. Wick with a $10 donation. Love you guys. You have to come to Baltimore, Maryland. We need love too. I'd love to go to. I've been to Maryland before.
Never been.
Went to the Chesapeake Bay. That's right. That's Chesapeake Bay right there.
I don't know. I'm a bad American.
Well, we did a cross country tour in our motorhome when I was like 12 or 13. That was a really cool experience. But yeah, I'd love to stop by Baltimore. That'd be cool. Anyway, but yeah, thank you for your donation, and sending some love over to Baltimore, Maryland. I think is what we're doing right now.
Hell yeah.
We'll stop by next time we're in the area. Jake Seward with $5 donation. I have an i7 8700 with an Asus Z390 motherboard. Should I stick with 2666 RAM or get higher and use XMP? Will the RAM run higher or throttle down to 2666? All right, so Jake, I think there's a couple aspects to answering your question here. One, should you get faster memory? No, you're fine.
Nope.
2666 is just fine. That's not to say you don't get a little bit more performance out of faster memory on an Intel platform. You do, but it's pretty marginal. AMD, there's more of a noticeable uptick by going with the faster memory. Second part of the question, will the RAM run higher or throttle down to 2666? So any given platform that you install memory to has a base level frequency that the memory is supposed to run at. So if you install memory on an AMD 2000 series, an AM4 platform, B450, it's going to try to run it at the base frequency of 2133, whatever that is. It's up to you to go in to your BIOS or your UEFI and to tell it, hey, use XMP settings, or hey, use the frequency, the settings that I tell you to if you want to do a manual tuning. So it would run at a higher frequency if you went in and plugged in those XMP values. Chances are if you bought a faster RAM kit and did that with your 8700K, or with your 8700, you would be able to do that without much difficulty. Would it be worth it for you? Probably not. You're probably just fine with what you've got. So that's what I would recommend, is stick with what you got. Hope that helps. Finally, MJA. With a $10 donation, I appreciate that you showed the Enermax ETS-T50. It is similar to the Cooler Master MA410 ARGB, except much improved and probably better.
I like that cooler, the ETS.
ETS-T50 Axe. It's the Axe.
AXE?
Yeah, the Axe. I don't know where it went.
Let me ask you a question.
It's over there somewhere. It's over there.
Is this the Cooler Master one? That's the Cooler Master.
Yeah, it might not be readily accessible, but yes, I have that now. Yeah, Enermax, their ETS series, they had a T40, they had an earlier version of the T50. They've always been nice, solid mid-range air coolers that looked pretty good, especially since they've been doing the black and white versions.
Yeah.
$30 to $50 range.
Right.
And it's like, why are you going to spend all that money on an all-in-one liquid cooler and introduce more points of failure to your system and stuff like that, when you could just get a decent mid-range air cooler and call it a day. So yeah, I'm glad Enermax is continuing this series. ETS-T50 I thought looked pretty good out of the box. I can't say that I've tested it directly or anything, but it does have a unique thing on the exhaust fan. It's got a rotatable thing. So it's like, you ever seen one of those fans where you could rotate a thing and you could direct the airflow?
Oh yeah,
It's got
like a vent,
angled slats on the back.
Right.
So yeah, you can rotate that and you can direct the airflow coming off of your CPU like more towards your exhaust fan or something like that, which I was like,
it'd be interesting to test.
I wonder if that's actually effective.
Yeah.
It might be. I'm not sure. Anyway, but yeah, thank you, MJ. Glad to have featured that product. I have some pre-rolls coming up with that, actually.
Nice.
Israel Garcia, the last donation with $4.99. Asus 2080 Ti Matrix or EVGA Kingpin 2080 Ti. Planning an enthusiast build on the Crosshair 8 Impact and a Silverstone I'm assuming he means Impact and a Silverstone RVZ03 Mini ITX case. Double check that Impact fits in the RVZ03. I don't have any reason to think it wouldn't, but it is Mini DTX, and you're talking about a Mini ITX case. So just double check that. Beyond that, gosh, I don't know. I mean, you're talking about 2080 Ti's, and like the variance between 2080 Ti's is like they're all really nice.
Yeah.
If you're gonna like the Kingpin, to me means you're gonna be connecting up direct voltage read points to it, and you're gonna be maybe throwing some LN2 at it or something. Like the Kingpin is overbuilt in such a way that a lot of the extra stuff going in there is only really taken advantage of by professional overclockers, high-end overclockers.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I might lean towards the 2080 Ti Matrix, but just go with one that's a reasonable price, because they should be around $1,200, and I see them regularly for $1,300, $1,400, $1,500, and I'm like, gosh, the amount of upcharge you can do for a better cooler certainly increases when you're talking about a price difference from $1,200 to $1,400 versus $500 to $550 or something like that.
Yeah.
So something to consider there.
And also maybe look at the dimensions of each one just to see how well they fit into that small form factor case.
Yes.
Because sometimes that could be the difference between like no headache and a total pain in the ass.
Yes, and DeFay, I agree that saying 2080 Ti and reasonable price is kind of an oxymoron or a self-defeating statement, but, Anyway, all right, we have another comment that slipped in here from Dan Edwards, $5. Recently bought an i9 9900K and an RTX 2080 Ti. How long do you think it will be until I need to upgrade again?
5 years.
Need. You used the word need there, Dan, so I would say, yeah, like Kyle said, 5 years.
Yeah.
Need is going to be a while. That should tide you over.
That's huge.
I mean, that should be top end for at least another year, if not 2.
Yeah.
And even 2, 3, 4 years after that, it should still be
So good.
perfectly viable.
So good still, yeah.
And you know, you got lots of VRAM in the 2080 Ti, and 9900K has a lot of cores and threads. And I think you're good. I think you're good for a while now, Dan. So,
yeah.
so you know, rest easy. Don't be too concerned about, you know, spending your kids' college money on updated hardware or anything like that. Hopefully you'll be fine. All right, guys, that's all we got for our... Oh, wait, no, we got some donation, or some
Johnsons.
Do good Johnson shout-outs, and then we will feed you over to a raid that we have lined up.
Garrett C, starting with Garrett C, he's our first Johnson of the night. Johnson to you for picking up a Bitwit Circle logo decal. Thank you. Decals are nice.
Another Johnson to Sean B from Youngstown, Ohio, with a black thumbscrew t-shirt and the beer set.
Sean B gets a double Johnson.
Oh, double Johnson for you, Sean.
Thanks for grabbing a screw with confidence. Solid Navy. Solid.
Oh, that's a good one.
Solid.
The Navy one. Support your troops in the Navy.
I'm just going to start saying that. Just tack it on, even though it has nothing to do with it. No proceeds. Just
Get a bunch of people mad at you.
milk that shit.
Trying to pretend that you're... Okay. Andrew D from New Jersey, Pine Hill, New Jersey. He got the pub glass,
Gotta love the
20-ounce glass. Enjoy that, Andrew. I hope you drink many fine beverages out of it. Johnson for you.
Chris B, a Johnson in your face for picking up a screw with confidence. Solid Navy once again, and a Bitwit Overclock 15-ounce black ceramic mug. Thank you very much, sir.
Jeremiah H from North Carolina. North Carolina, come on, raise up. He got the 15-ounce mug and the white logo black T-shirt. Solid choices there. Thank you, and Johnson for you, Jeremiah.
A double Johnson to Andrew D.
Double Johnson, Andrew D.
I'd call that a double D.
Nice.
With an 8-bit Boy Blaster stainless steel bottle opener. Good choice. Good choice.
Boy Blaster?
It's the one where I'm like an 8-bit character, like shooting a flamethrower type thing.
Oh, okay.
That's very fun.
Chris B from Fort Mill, South Carolina, got the solid black tri-blend T-shirt. Good choice. This is the thumb screw, the classic thumb screw. Thank you very much, Chris.
Teddy H gets a gratuitous Johnson for picking up a Bitwit Overclock 15-ounce black ceramic mug, a heather black T-shirt with the Bitwit logo on it, and a Bitwit gray logo black tri-blend T-shirt as well. Thank you very much, sir.
Wonderful.
I appreciate that.
Matthew W. from Statham, Georgia, got the RGB Everything Awesome Hardware Dark Gray T-shirt. So Johnson's from both of us to you, because the Awesome Hardware merch we split.
Yes.
Glorious.
Indeed. Christopher Z. That you picked up a Screw with Confidence shirt in black. Black, like the ones we're wearing. Thank you very much, sir.
There, oh yeah, see, that's the subtle merchandising that we're doing.
Oh yeah, it's working.
My last Johnson goes out to Ronald H. from Jamaica, New York. I did not know there was a Jamaica, New York. That's good to know.
Really?
Got the thumbscrew beer set and the black logo gray zipper hooded sweatshirt. You're going to be happy with that one. Thank you, and a Johnson for you, Ronald.
How confusing would that get? Where do you live? Jamaica. Oh, down under. Not down under, but oh, Jamaica, man. No, like New York. Wait, what? I've never even heard of a Jamaica in New York.
I thought you were going for Australia at first.
At first I was. I don't know why I said down under.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
I mean, Jamaica is definitely south of us, but it's not the down under that I was referring to. See, I confused myself. That's how confusing it is. Matthew W., a Johnson to you. Thank you for picking up a Screw with Confidence Solid Navy. Support our troops. And Bitwit Overclocking Mug. Yes. Big old Johnsons all around. John
That's a double
F.
Johnson for Matthew, by the way.
That's
double
a
Johnson.
DJ. Big old DJ. Remind me if any of these other ones are double Johnsons.
I'm going to try.
John F., Bitwit Overclocking Ceramic Mug, and an 8-Bit Boy Blaster Stainless Steel Bottle Opener. That's another one for the Bit Boy. Thank you very much, sir. And Aki W., Screw with Confidence Heather Olive T-shirt, Flash BIOS shirt, Beware of Bottlenecks Dark Gray Heather T-shirt, and a Stay Positive shirt. Wow, thank you very much.
He's from the Netherlands.
You're keeping me floating here. Thank you very much, sir. Aki. I hope I didn't butcher your name too hard. And Jose T. for picking up a Bitwit overclocking mug, a big old Johnson slathered, all up and around your face. Thank you guys very much. We appreciate it.
Yes, indeed.
Keeps us employed.
All right, guys, that's all we have for the show today.
Raid!
After party and everything. Today we are rating KC Brit. So if you guys are still watching on YouTube or Twitch, go over to twitch.tv/KCBrit.
It's his birthday.
KCBRIT. It is his birthday.
Birthday stream.
He's 100 years old,
Wow.
according to
Go wish him a happy 100.
according to Cell. So everyone say happy birthday and a big old raid from Awesome Hardware. And
Yeah.
thanks to you guys for watching our show, supporting us. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evening
We love you.
and enjoy that raid too.
Now and
And
forever.
thanks again to Cell for wonderful moderation today.
We love you, Sal.
Goodbye.
Have my babies.
Goodbye.